Come on in, guys. How you doing? I'm Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed, nice to meet you. Go have a seat here, please. Right over here.
Oh.
And this must be Red.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Red. Well, can we see me here?
No.
Okay, so we're here today. We're going to just go a little bit over a little bit of psychoeducation. I've been seeing Red here for a little while. I've diagnosed Red with bipolar disorder, and part of bipolar disorder, you want to have family support, and family support is a big thing. So psychoeducation is just educating you guys on what bipolar disorder is, basically telling you guys how you can support Red, any questions you have for me, and basically that's just pretty much all it is just learning about the disorder itself. So any questions, anything that you guys see Red suffering with?
I have a question.
Yes.
If Red is our brother, he has the same genes as us, correct?
Correct. Somewhat.
Wouldn't we have at least a part of bipolar disorder too?
Sometimes bipolar disorder, well, actually, to be blunt honest, there is no known cause of bipolar disorder. Now, some people will say it's the structure of the brain. Some people can say it's family genes. And so I honestly can't give you a direct answer, yes or no. But yes, that's a good question. But I can't say for sure that you guys can have the symptoms and genes that Red has because you have the same genes. You pull some from your mother, some from your father. So you guys are alike, but not exactly 100% alike. And so yes and no, it possibly could be to the genes. Clearly you guys don't have the genes that Red has that is affecting him. But again, that is not also a known case of why the cause of bipolar is here. So what do you guys experience at home with Red? Like, how does he act? How does he seem at home to you?
If I may, sometimes he'll get really upset and like sad, and it's not like just a regular sad that a regular human being would be on a normal daily basis. On a normal daily basis, he could get like super sad, like that would affect his whole week.
Okay, so that is called depressive episodes. So people with bipolar disorder have depressive episodes. They pretty much have really low lows. Sometimes they can have suicidal thoughts. They can feel like they're not worthy. They can have very, very bad ideas of things to do to other people. So what you're describing is depressive episodes that Red goes through, which all people with bipolar episode. Let's not let the camera die. All people with bipolar episode go through. Excuse me. All people with bipolar disorder go through depressive episodes. So that's actually pretty normal for Red itself. So the thing about it is just that you have to be able to see that warning sign. That's what we call a warning sign, that depressive episode. So sometimes Red can go into very low lows, and he can feel very sad, and he can't help it. It's just the way his prefrontal cortex is affected, and that's just what he deals with. However, we're going to get him on some medication. This is why we're here today. This therapy here itself is going to be able to help Red psychoeducation, because one of the things in bipolar disorder that helps the patient out a lot is family support. And so sometimes as family members, we don't understand what our brother is going through. So this is why we're here today. So you guys can truly understand what Red is going through, and now you will be able to support him. So when you see Red gets really angry or very, very low or really, really depressed, well, then you can do some things that you know also makes him happy, because you know he's suffering from his brain having a brain defect and an illness in that area. And that's making him have those super low lows.
Sometimes he's really like happy and gets really happy. Yeah.
So that's actually kind of very, Very kind of weird, huh? So on one hand, he's very, very sad, but on the other hand, he's very, very happy, overexcited, extra joyful, extra jittery, right? And so, what that you're noticing is those are called manic episodes.
Is
So
it kind of like the depression episodes?
it's exactly like the depressive episodes, but it's the opposite. So a person with bipolar disorder goes both on both sides of the spectrum. They go on the very good side, and then they go all the way down to the very bad side. So you got to think of a slide here, and if one slide was really, really good, and then the other slide in the park was very, very bad, sometimes Red will ride on the very, very bad slide, and then sometimes he will ride on the super fun, most extravagant slide in the world. So this is different highs and lows. So depressive episodes is what you described, and you young man, what you're describing right now is a manic episode. So Red sometimes suffers from manic and depressive episodes. That's part of having bipolar disorder. You go through both. So it's kind of like your personality don't know which one it really wants to be. So he tends to get super excited. He's playing the game with you and he's high-fiving you a little extra hard. And, sometimes it's just getting a little extra excited. If he doesn't want to let one thing go and is super high on it and super excited and hyped up about it, just kind of, hey, Red, just bring him down a little bit, because sometimes those manic episodes happen. Or just, to control those episodes, we're going to get Red on some medication. And so as a family members, you guys live with Red, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just, sometimes we can just check and say, hey, Red, did you, take your meds today, bro? And, if he did, we can take him in there and tell Mom and make sure he's taking his medicine. So if he's getting super excited, I'm talking about jumping off the top bunks, trying to climb on top of the roof, and just trying to get these really high highs, then he's just going through some manic episodes. And he's going to come back to normal, but it's just how it is for Red. Red's brain works a little bit different than ours, and his is not in the normal spot. Sometimes his is very high, and sometimes his is very low.
I have one last question. Me and my brother were kind of thinking about this before we came. And is there a cure for bipolar?
That's actually another very, very good question. There actually is not a cure for bipolar disorder. Again, there's not a known cause for bipolar disorder, so scientists and the specialists have not yet figured out what exactly causes bipolar disorder. And also, they have not yet found a cure for bipolar disorder. It's kind of like cancer. It's actually, it's not as extreme as something like cancer, but it's in a sense that it can be treated. People with cancer, have an illness that can be treated. People can live with cancer. People can survive. People can continue their daily lives. People can have kids. People can do everything that normal people can do with this disease. That's the same for bipolar disorder. And that's very far on the other side of the spectrum of cancer. Bipolar disorder cannot kill you. However, one of the things to be concerned about with bipolar disorder is that bipolar disorder, when you're going through those manic episodes or those depressive episodes in specific, those suicidal thoughts and those things that think he wants to do bad things to himself, and those negative thoughts that he's not worthy or he's not loved or he doesn't have anybody that cares about him. Sometimes those thoughts can overwhelm a person and make a person harm himself. Or also, what goes hand in hand with Red, Red is just now turning 22 years old, and so he's able to go to the store and buy alcohol. And so when people drink sometimes and dealing with depressive episodes, people can overdrink. And if you overdrink with these depressive episodes, sometimes those suicidal thoughts or those negative thoughts that you have in your head can take over and make you harm yourself, and that may cause death. And so, while there is no cure, that for your answer, there is no cure, but there is treatment. And this here today is part of Red's treatment. We got Red on some cognitive behavior therapy. We also brought you guys in here today for some psychoeducation therapy. And this is why we're here today, because we're treating Red. As Red is going to be able to live with this illness, and he's going to be able to have a happy life because he has good brothers and sisters and family support like your mom and dad at home.
One quick question. Is the manic episode necessarily a bad thing? Is it a bad thing?
It's not really a bad thing. God makes us all different. And God uses his paintbrush and he paints us all different. And so sometimes Red gets super excited. You really can't say it's a bad thing that somebody gets super excited. It's just a way to identify what's going on with him. So the word manic, just don't look at it as in a bad way. Look at it as in a way just to identify what's happening with Red. So if he's getting super stoked from playing Fortnite, and I'm talking about breaking cans on his head, breaking bottles over his head, because he's really super stoked or super hype. I know it might seem funny, but that's what manic is. It's a manic episode. His highs are really high. So for a normal person, a win would just be celebrated with high fives and hoorays. For Red might need to jump off the roof.
Wait, what? Can't you kill yourself from that?
That is true. He can possibly harm himself from jumping off of a roof. But that's why we're here. So for you, a high five and hooray will be normal. But for Red, his highs, remember, are very high. So when he gets stoked, when he gets hyped and fired up, his fired up and hype is a little bit different. He might start punching windows and stuff. Like, oh, yeah, man, we did it. Like, hey, Red, that's a window. But for Red, that's normal. And so that's why that manic episode is, identified as a manic episode. And to your question, yes, you can harm yourself from jumping off a roof. And that's why we're here, to talk about the things that Red's mind goes through. So, as I said, bipolar disorder itself cannot kill you, but the symptoms and the things that you guys have to be warned about can harm him. So just as the depressive episodes have things that can possibly harm him, sometimes when you get super, super stoked and super fired up, those things can harm you too. So Red gets fired up from scoring a touchdown on a video game, goes upstairs, opens up the window. Yeah, man, I'm about to jump off this roof. I'm fired up. You guys need to be like, hey, Red, close that window. Or close the window, grab him, protect your brother, because that's just a manic episode that he's potentially going through.
Don't do that.
It might seem funny, but it's truly something that Red goes through, and this is just part of bipolar disorder. So you guys have a good time with him. Don't make him feel like he's any different. He gets super stoked, and it might look funny, but just keep in mind that his brain is just a little bit wired, is wired just a little bit differently than yours, and potentially he's having one of those manic episodes. So while it might seem funny and be funny, you need to think a little bit deeper just for the protection of Red. Any other questions about bipolar disorder and what Red's going through, or,
No.
No? All right, well, it was nice meeting you guys. Red, thank you for bringing your family members. This is probably going to do you a lot of justice, because now you got a support group, not just with your parents, but your siblings your age, and they understand it, and you're understood, and they're going to be there to help you. You're very worthy of their help. They love you, right, guys? So you guys love Red? And Red, they love you, and they're going to be there to support you 100%. And so I thank you so much for coming today, and you guys have a great day. And just, if you see anything that you have questions about, or if you come up with any other questions, give me a call, jot them down, or when we have this next meeting, you guys can bring that list in, or if it's something that's really on your mind and really bugging you, and you feel like you want to give me a call, go ahead and call me up, and we can have a quick discussion about what's going on. All right? All right, you guys have a nice day. Good, nice meeting you.